Welcome back on the AM show. This is the news leg of the show. And Finance Minister designate Ken Ofori-Atta has defended the procurement process his ministry took regarding the Ejapa deal. Appearing before Parliament's Appointments Committee on Thursday, Mr. Ofori-Atta said the former Special Prosecutor, Martin Amidu, releasing a corruption and anti-corruption risk assessment report of the transaction without discussing it with the appropriate quarters was a disservice to our democracy. He dismissed suggestions of conflict of interest as far as Databank's involvement in the controversial Ejapa deal was concerned.
Your policy is to reintroduce the Ejapa royalties deal. Can you give us the assurance that in seeking to appoint transaction advisors in the future, you will be compliant with Article 1815 of the Constitution and the decision in Attorney General versus Faro Atlantic Company Limited?
Mr. Chairman, I think I mentioned a fundamental flaw in the approach that the OSP took with regards to whether he gave us a chance to respond or not. And I think that should be of keen interest to this House as just a rule of law. And so to then go on to accept, acknowledge a document in which your citizens were not able to give their views on that, I think it's something that we should not encourage. I do not feel that we broke any rule, and I think the AG will be able to give you a firm assessment of that. Really, there's quite a bit of cynicism with that transaction. And for me, for the House, for such a report to be put out to the public without us or myself as Minister of Finance having a chance to discuss it, I think is a disservice to our democracy.
Let's talk education now. And the Sector Minister, Dr. Yao Educhum, says the Ghana Education Service will soon roll out a comprehensive guideline for schools in the admission of prospective senior high school students. The Ghana Education Service, according to him, is meeting all the relevant stakeholders to realize this objective. This was in response to a statement by the Member of Parliament for Norton, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, criticizing the authorities of the Achimota School for denying a 17-year-old boy enrollment at the school on grounds of his locks hairdo. Dr. Educhum assured that his ministry is on top of issues and consultations are ongoing to resolve the impasse.
Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that Ghana Education Service within the shortest possible time is going to lay out specific guidelines for head of schools as to how we proceed in this environment. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that meetings have been had, others are ongoing, the ministry facilitating to make sure that our students operate in an environment where they give up their best, not just to themselves but to this nation. Mr. President, is about ensuring that education becomes that vehicle for socio-economic transformation and that Ghana competes just like any country in this world. That is what has preoccupied us at the Ministry of Education, that we can bring the President's vision into reality.
Education Minister Dr. Yao Educhum there. She wants to move beggars from the streets and wants to be a journalist. That's not all. She also wants to change the perception that once you have a disability, the option is to beg. These are the aspirations of Jennifer, a visually impaired girl whose story has gone viral after she was filmed frying Gary. She tells Esinamose she has accepted her misfortune. Let's now go to the community of Odotom and introduce you to Jennifer.
Can you work with a knife and fire with your eyes closed? Meet Jennifer, who became visually impaired at age 7. Abandoned by her father, Jennifer lives in the village of Odotom in the eastern region with her mother. The light in her eyes started dimming at age 6 and has not been lit again.
became blind, I think glaucoma, and so we actually went to the eye checkup and stuff at Emmanuel Eye Clinic. Okay. And I was operated on the first day, and everything went well. Okay. But I was a kid then, and I couldn't just understand the reason why all of a sudden you start losing your eyesight and stuff. So the following day, doctor said, so I had to do another surgery in Colombo. Since then, I don't know, my eyeballs just decided to, go inside, so I couldn't even open my eyes normally again, and it all started.
Jennifer has had to deal with stigma, even from those she calls family.
Most people in my family feels like my mom, it's a taboo to have a person with visually impairment, and so this girl can't do anything. And so yeah, I'm always being referred here as a child because they feel like everything that's supposed to do for myself, somebody always does it for me. Even a family member said, I'd rather die than having a child like you.
She's currently in Form 2 at Okwapiman Senior High School and is determined to become a renowned journalist and an advocate for persons with disability.
I really want to move beggars from the street into workers. I want to change that concept that once you are a person with disability, you have no option than to go to the street and beg.
She tells us about her friend Benedicta, who's been forced out of school.
She lives in Asokori Mountain, Kumasi. The lady can sing like something. And all of a sudden, this lady stopped coming to school. When you go to YouTube and you type, "My situation cannot stop me," you find her songs plenty. And they have denied the lady access to good education. She lives in the house with them and she now sings in the market. I will be so proud if I will be able to get Benedicta entry back to school for the blind.
Jennifer says her mother struggles a lot, so she helps with her gari processing business to make ends meet. 6 days a week, 4:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. She's able to detect a well-cooked gari by the sound it makes and the scent it diffuses.
The sound changes, the scent, and then how it feels like. So when I hold it, this one, I know that it's not yet gari.
She enjoys the lighter side of life. She loves entertainment.
So Hits FM does entertainment all day. So you listen from Daybreak Hit to Mr. Hagler to Hit News at 1 to the afternoon definition, Mercury Quay, the Dawn, Isiwiti. Oh God, what? You like hits? Dr. Pound. I love hits. I love entertainment.
Jennifer is appealing to government to equip her senior high school with special teaching and learning materials since she and her visually impaired colleagues are unable to learn mathematics and science, which are both core subjects.
Amazing, isn't she, Jennifer? Well, cashew fruits are a good source of healthy dietary fats, which are essential for our bodies to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, and also produce fatty acids that are vital for the development of the brain. However, here in Ghana, more than 99% of these fruits are left to rot on our farms. Olam Ghana Cashew, in partnership with ComCashew, has provided training for 30 women in agriculture in the Bono East region on recipes to serve as an additional source of income for them and their families. There's more in the following report by Anas Sabit.
Even though women form more than 80% of the labor force involved in the collection of raw cashews from the farm, less than 10% of these farms are owned by women. In order to improve the living standards of women in the cashew industry, Olam Ghana Cashew, with support from the Competitive Cashew Initiative, Riyadh and MOFA organized an upskilling training program on cashew apple-based products for 30 women in agriculture. The main objective of the training, according to Mr. Raphael Isif-Amankwa, who is the branch manager for Olam Ghana Cashew, is to present an opportunity for the maximization of the use of the cashew apple for the generation of additional income for these women.
This initiative is part of our At Source Plus initiative, where we are trying to look at value addition. So as Olam, once we are here into the raw nut trading in Ghana, we try to look at how can we go the extra mile to generate additional income for farmers and their families. How do we generate incomes to bring livelihood in communities? So this initiative is driven by our Source Olam Livelihood Charter initiative that has given us the strength to go this length.
Speaking at the tasting event held in Techiman in the Bono East region, Chief Executive Officer of the Tree Crop Development Authority, Mr. William Ejapon Kwetu, who was astonished at the delicacies, re-echoed government's commitment towards the development of the cashew sector.
Please, with what I've seen today, yes, I knew the cashew fruit was being put to some good use, particularly the extraction of alcohol. But I have never seen cashew fruit being used for everyday delicacies like kebab, burger, and then the soft drink. I have not seen it. I'm so well pleased. And somebody with a little background of agriculture, I was always talking about how we could get rid of those fresh foods thrown on the farm. So now that I've seen that every bit of the fruit can be put to some good use, I am going to use every means to promote the use of the fruit in preparing these delicacies that I've seen here.
He, however, called on the beneficiaries to make good use of the knowledge and to improve their livelihoods.
Those who have come for this training, I'm going to follow them up with Olam and Corn Cashew to ensure that we give them some little support to, as it were, open up some small shop around the city centers and maybe the working environment.
Well, thank you for your time with us. It's a wrap on the news leg of the show. But coming up next, news review right here on the AM Show. Don't you forget, the hashtag is AM Show across social media. Do stay. We'll be right back. Good morning, Mama.
Yo!
And then, that's a nigga to say, "Be your pin to what you say."
Oh yeah, but we don't see your show.
Okay, so let me just ask you this.
We don't see your show.
Mama V,
we are the masters.
What is it that attracts you to Accra Hearts of Oak? I want to digest it, get it, because I have a few facts I'm going to be throwing your way that will not make Accra Hearts of Oak look too good. So you tell me, what attracts you to Hearts of Oak?
Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 26th of March. We're grateful to God that we have life. God has been good. And I am proud to say that Accra Hearts of Oak has the Never Say Die slogan. The Never Say Die slogan is one that we all have to say whatever you want to say about Hearts of Oak, but listen to the slogan again. Never say die until the bones are rotting.
But your team has died many times.
Never give up. We don't care. See, what we care...
Do you have a team bus?
Why do you want to...
Do you guys have a team bus? Ben, I mean, how recently was it when you...
Ben, all these things you're saying are trivials to us. We love our club irrespective. You can have the best branding. You can have the best bus. You can have whatever it is you claim that you have, but we are still the greats.
Okay.
So
let me tell you this.
That's what I am proud because we are the greats Accra Hearts of Oak, Ben.
Okay. So do you admit that when it comes to football...
Why is this a competition between Ben and myself? Why is this even a competition? I only came on the show this morning wearing my proudly Accra Hearts of Oak jersey.
It's not a competition.
And you have an issue with it.
Why is your Kotoko... Hearts of Oak can't compete with...
Why is your Kotoko jersey?
You can't compete with that.
But that's the thing. I post a picture of me in Accra Hearts of Oak. I haven't mentioned anybody. I haven't called anybody. And then you see all the comments.
Okay.
And people comparing Kotoko to Hearts.
I'm going to break it down. When it comes to Ghana,
what are you...
Which is the most popular club?
Ben, What are you
most known
breaking
club.
down? What are you
the club
breaking
with the
down?
biggest fans.
What are you breaking down?
The best achieving club. And anyway, let me break it down to you. But football is about goals. It's about trophies. It's about winning, right?
So guess what? Show,
guess what?
I wasn't even talking about football.
But you're not talking about football?
Of course I'm not talking about football.
You're rocking a Hearts of Oak jersey and you're rocking 1911 and you're not talking about football?
So that's your issue. See? That's your issue.
You can't be rocking
You've
that jersey
taken
and
issue
not be talking about
with me
football.
because I am rocking proudly my Accra Hearts of Oak jersey. I didn't come with. I did see.
Colors the car, Jeff.
And you be oh yeah. It depends you. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what. But Mama, on a more serious note, you know the list of 100 best African teams. Accra Hearts of Oak is at number 30. We need to do better. I mean, the current statistics.
Benny, we don't care. We
Ashanti
don't care.
Gold is at 63.
No matter what you
I'm sad to say that Accra Hearts of Oak, I say networks, you know, they're out of coverage area.
We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We just love our club, and that's what we are proudly saying.
Hey.
So if you're Hearts of Oak today, and you can rock your jersey, please do it, irrespective of what the other people say.
Yeah.
I have a birthday dedication. I don't want Ben to take...
Kotoko, there will be more jerseys, more people rocking Kotoko jerseys than yours because...
Last week, I was in a hat jersey. You did your talk. No show.
What's
week,
the no show?
The same. So what are you comparing me with right now?
I don't need to flaunt it because everyone out there knows. Team Papa. There's no need to flaunt it.
I'm dedicated to this dude here. Okay, I have a special birthday dedication I want to make before we get into the newspapers today. So happy birthday to my darling husband, Dr. Audrey Kwachi Nyama, his twin sister, Mrs. Audrey Aqua, and their father, Mr. Richard Kwachi Nyama. Wishing you God's goodness, favor, and grace. Have an amazing day. And I said, my dear husband, it is not me, it is Dr. Mrs. Gracelyn Kwachi Nyama to her husband and the twin. So happy birthday to you. Enjoy the day. All right, now we can do the newspapers.
And no, before we do the newspapers, I also have a bit of a dedication. I mean, if you've done it.
Oh, you're not talking Kotoko?
We might. No, I'll come back to Kotoko.
Wow.
I'll give you more damning information.
Wow, look.
I also want to wish a very happy birthday to Pascaline Atuguba, wife of Professor Atuguba, my Dean of Faculty. Pascaline, you're like a sister, a big sister. You're just a wonderful person. This morning, I don't know whether you're watching, but I want to say happy birthday to you. And if you're hearing this, do tell Pascaline that we're wishing her a very happy birthday. Enjoy. It gets worse, Mama V.
I have a message from Anas Sabitz, who's watching. Anas says, Ben can't even wear the Kotoko jersey for once.
Oh, look at these ones.
Tell him we are super proud of the oak tree. Thank you, my brother.
But on that list, guess what?
Okay, we're digging into the newspapers.
Chelsea is at 88.
We're not hosting the
Mediana
sports.
is at 90.
We're not hosting the sports this morning.
Is at 92.
We're here to review the newspapers and also touch base with myjoyonline.com. If some people claim they love their club, let them show it and stop doing ano-pan-pan. Let your deeds. You know? Okay, let's do the newspapers.
No, but Mama.
The Ghanaian Times newspaper, front page of the Ghanaian Times. What do you want me to do again?
Which region are you from?
Proudly from the Volta region.
Okay. So if we asked about your
Akmala?
region,
is it the food that you want to ask?
Oh, yeah. It's a simple cry.
Yeah.
But today we're talking ministers, and it will be interesting to find, out whether people know their regional ministers and all.
You come from Oti. You come from who is your original minister?
I am a Voltaire.
Who is your
Dr. Archibald Lecter is my minister.
That's a lie.
I knew you were going to do that.
Ben, seriously, who is the Oti regional minister?
You mean the Volta regional minister?
No, I mean the Oti regional minister. Damn! Who is?
The Volta regional minister is Dr. Archibald Lecter.
You come from the Oti region, don't you?
I'm from the Volta region. And you're not saying I'm split here. Oh, a minister is.
Seriously, Ben. I'll give you 200 Ghana cedis. Who is? I hope I don't have an earpiece. I hope that nobody mentioned it. Did they mention? No, they did. They did. Let's
Why did you have to go there?
I said they did because initially you didn't know. Yeah. So
I am saying that my regional minister is acting like I should go to Oti. I'm saying Baba Dina Mawa. After there was a day. Eh?
Well, I will share.
So you owe me 200 Ghana cedis now.
Me. Anya. Oji Fiaragba.
Lenuka. So come be Friday born to what?
See, you can't even speak our language. You can't be from the Volta region. Let's do the newspaper. The Ghanaian Times newspaper is what I'll start with. Yeah. Here we go. No, I don't.
You owe me 200.
I don't. We did not break any law. Ken Oforiatta replies critics as he makes case for its return. Nationwide anti-malaria campaign, 30 million mosquito nets to be distributed from April, according to Dr. Patrick Kumabuache, the Ghana Health Service Director. GIJ grants amnesty to free defaulting students to register for exams. It comes with a picture of Professor Kwanzaa Adu. Government bans permits for mining in forest reserves. Page 3, whole murder cases shocking, unbelievable. That's the police. The Volta Region Police Commander there saying, Deputy Commissioner of Police Edward Odro Kwarteng, he said that the 4 murder cases which occurred in the region in the past 4 weeks are shocking and unbelievable. This is very uncharacteristic of the Volta region, he said in an interview with the Ghanaian Times in Ho on Wednesday. The rest of it is on page 3. Also, businessman 43 before court for defrauding a NACOP personnel in Ho. His name is Kweku Boateng Bawa. He's 43, a businessman who allegedly duped 8 personnel of the Nation Builders Corps in Ho of a total of 12,300 Ghana cedis under the pretext of securing them permanent jobs with the Ghana Revenue Authority. He was arraigned in the Ho Circuit Court on Wednesday. He's pleaded not guilty to 8 counts of defrauding by false pretense. The rest of the story in terms of the background is also here. And then the Home Magistrate Court has adjourned to April 7, 2021, the case in which 20-year-old Philip Caesar Kuma is alleged to have subjected his girlfriend to severe battering in Ho, resulting in her death later in hospital. This was after the accused made another appearance before the court yesterday, provisionally charged with murder. The court, presided over by Mr. Robert Addo, was earlier told that Kuma and the deceased Elizabeth Yesuto Akpalu, 32, were level 200 and level 300 students respectively at the EP University College in Ho. So Sergeant Ben Amuakon, who presented the facts, said that quarrels often ensued between the lovers, during which the accused assaulted the deceased. Recently, according to prosecution, another misunderstanding arose between them in Ho, and Kuma beat her up again. After the assault, the deceased complained to a friend about the persistent pains she suffered in her heart and how she was no longer able to breathe with ease. She was finally sent to the Ho Teaching Hospital on Monday, March 7. But that's where she died the next day while on treatment.
I think it's a good thing the papers keep reminding us of this. And as the case proceeds, that we keep getting more and more information on it, because it also opens our eyes to the realities out there and why men should really stop doing these things. Each time the case comes up, I was sucking my teeth when you mentioned it again, because it's just a yasifim. Sometimes the P expresses it better. A yasifim. It just hits you. Well, sad.
Let's do the back page of the paper. Black Star seal AFCON qualification with Bafana draw. So we've got a last game, but that result, no, I did not. That result doesn't matter really, because we've qualified. Yeah.
If we had lost, then it could have been.
Sudan, South Africa, and Sao Tome. Now, between South Africa and Sudan, really, because Sao Tome is down there with 0 points. So it will be between the two. We'll see how that goes. Strictly adhere to mining laws and regulations. That's the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, asking small-scale miners at Obuasi in the Ashanti region to strictly adhere to mining laws and regulations in their operational activities. The rest of it is there, and you can grab the paper.
Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper now. IGP cautions churches ahead of Easter hold 2-hour service. And we've heard from some of the churches themselves who've been talking about the fact that after the Easter festivities, or better, the church services and the rest, you know, we have the Monday picnic and all of that. And they are calling on, you know, people to be very circumspect, if possible, even avoid those gatherings, because before you know it, COVID is on the loose again. Contribute 5% levy for debt for development. ADB MD appeals to banks. That's also on page 12. Let me take a quick look at that story. And the managing director of the Agricultural Development Bank, Dr. John Kofi Mensah, has appealed to banks to consider the proposed 5% levy on their profit before tax as a contribution to national development. He said, while it was obvious that the levy would hurt the revenues and bottom lines of banks in the short term, the revenue that would accrue to the states would help develop the country and make it conducive for banks to operate in the medium to long term. So he sees those as benefits, and he's calling on the banking sector to actually pay up. Ejapa, so let me do this one first. Minister calls for calm over Achimota school row. That's the education minister. And then Ejapa lawful special prosecutor was unfair to me, Ken Oforiatta, yesterday, saying that. I think quite a number of issues came up yesterday during the vetting of the finance minister designate. But one of the things that really struck me, Mama, and I felt it was a good move, was the fact that he was looking a bit, though he was delivering what he had to, he was looking a bit out of sorts in terms of the physical, you know, the presence out there. He wasn't looking as fit as I'm choosing my words carefully. And I feel it was a very good thing that after the first 2 hours, when they went on that break and he came back, and after the subsequent breaks, they just said, it's enough, I feel that was a very human thing for the House to have done yesterday, because it was clear he was in a bit of, you know, discomfort. And I felt it was very good. I was very happy as a Ghanaian that they would do that. They wouldn't just continue and, hey, we have to go through the process.
I think they had actually set the tone before the appearance. And yesterday during AM Talk, the Saldai Member of Parliament and also the Secondary Member of Parliament both talked about...
Roxanne and Mercer.
Yes, Roxanne and Mercer talked about how this was going to be over a certain period, possibly 2, because they were not going to go beyond some hours yesterday. And they had heard from people within the committee. But to be fair, he's still very much recovering. So that, I guess, was to be expected. I was pushing for why this had not been done via Zoom, you know, and yesterday...
but you know the problems with technology.
No, we wanted to feely.
You know the problems with technology.
Oh, but
you remember when Rojo was
and
all of that. Yeah, but there were problems here, and sometimes you would have Akoto Ampao say something, Amenovo say something, and then the lag in time, and he's not heard it, and he's going on doing this. You know the problems with Zoom. I feel physical is always better, unless it gets to the point where it really, really, really is bad, and you can't do physical. Then maybe Zoom. So he is saying a Japa is lawful. Just to wrap up with some others. This one says, there's a story I saw from the GIJ situation, and that is finally receiving some sort of closure. In the middle spread, though, Talo to invest $4.4 billion in oil fields and then collaborate with engineers for national development. Well, there's the story. It's on page 29. GIJ offers amnesty to defaulting students. So after all the letters, the communications we've received, GIJ has decided to allow those students who paid late to actually get through now. And I feel that's a positive step, especially on the back of COVID. On the back page, Ghana secured 9th straight AFCON qualification. That's it with the Daily Graphic.
Let's jump into the Daily Guide newspaper. Court subpoenas Mike Brown over Bulldog. And if you read details of the story on page 8, prosecution says that Mike Brown is her behavior translated to a person who is not willing to help the prosecution with the case. So they've secured what would make it by force, if you like, for her to appear. So an Accra Circuit Court has issued a witness summons against TV show hostess Nanama McBrown to testify in the trial of Lawrence Nanesia Mahansen, aka Bulldog, who allegedly threatened President Akufo-Addo live on television. And again, this is what he's alleged to have said. Quote, the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will not finish his 4-year term if he failed to pay customers of Men's Gold, unquote. But following claims by the prosecution that the popular actress was reluctant to help their case and appeared not to want to come to the court to testify, they decided to get the court involved to get her to appear to testify. This Chief Inspector Simon Apiosonu stated that Nanama McBrown had gone to the police headquarters the previous day, quote, to tell the investigators in the matter that she will not come to court no matter what, unquote. The prosecutor therefore prayed the court to issue a subpoena to compel her to appear before the court to testify, since her testimony was crucial to the prosecution's case.
All right, so quite a situation there in that instance. And, well, the seriousness we've attached to this case. And now she's being subpoenaed, she's being compelled, basically, to come and adduce evidence. Well, they did the show, didn't they? And the things that were said were said. So let's see how the law will handle this situation. What are the other stories?
There's also another story of a Nigerian actor whose alleged gay sex tape leaked online in February. He's revealed that he has been having suicidal thoughts as he currently battles with the effect of the scandal. His name is Godwin Maduagu, and his picture is there. Maybe you can see it and appreciate. Okay, not this. If you can go
so
up.
Godwin Maduagu, I think that's below.
The story there. The actor in the video, which went viral on social media, was seen having sex with his fellow man, an act which is totally forbidden by Nigeria's society and equally against its laws. The video generated a lot of reactions from Nigerians who kicked against it. However, the actor in the video he shared via his Instagram page on Tuesday lamented that he has become broke as he has lost many job opportunities due to the scandal. According to him, many companies have refused to work with him ever since the video surfaced online. The fact is, whether you're having sex with a man or woman, you don't put it out there. That's what it is.
It's scandal, either way.
Yeah.
I'll just do one.
Oh, back on the front page of the Daily Guide. Fresh charges for SNIT ex-boss. That story is on page 3. It's not as if there are fresh charges necessarily. Again, the paper is saying that they've interacted with the AG, and that's the indication that they get. It's not like they're in courts with new charges. So just so you know, you can read the rest of the story.
Well, I'll do this in a minute, and then we can go online for another minute, and then it's a wrap. Death trap steel bridge endangers lives of school pupils. That's on page 2 of the Finder newspaper. It says, nearly a year after the construction of the metal footbridge that links the primary school to its junior high, the structure is corroded with scary holes, putting the children in danger. The bridge is also used by some members of the Lankwantamang Medina municipality, where the Babayara Community 2 primary school is located. Now, if you look at, if we could get the front page and zoom to that story in the right bottom corner, you would appreciate, look at that bridge and children, school children, walking on top of it to school. It's a disastrous situation, and these are the death traps we know we see around, yet we turn a blind eye to, of course, until someone dies. Let's not wait in this instance until someone dies. So if the authorities are listening, let's do something about it. Let's save lives. Let's not wait for someone to die. Let's not wait for casualties. Maybe if we have enough time, we can do myjoyonline.com. If not,
we do have
right,
a bit of time.
myjoyonline.com.
Let me run through the rest of the headlines that I have. Let's do the Custodian newspaper real quick on the front page. Gentle Kent receive MP's unanimous approval. They are not even done with it, but that's what the paper says. Parliament approves 2.1 billion Ghana cedis for Defense Ministry. Razak Kojo Opoko replies critics on Baumia's production theory. That's in the paper today. If you look at the Daily Statesman, Works and Housing Minister calls for stakeholder support to address floods. Japan will accelerate development, Kenoforiata tells appointment committee. NDC threatens to eliminate, and that's in quote, EC boss. Not quite read the story, but if you're interested, you can grab the paper. And then the Daily Dispatch newspaper, the last one for me, religious affiliation in Ghana 2010 census. This is ahead of the new one that's going to happen this year. You're very passionate about the census, aren't you? Yeah, I am. Charismatic. The makeup, according to the 2010 census, is 28.3%, Protestants 18.4%, Islam 17.6%, and Catholic 13.1%. We will see the new figures after we've all been counted later, I guess. Okay. Mahama likely to be NDC 2024 presidential candidate. Who says that? Or who is saying that? Grab the paper and learn. I see an Amwa or something more there, right? Yeah, I saw Amwa, but I'm not sure exactly. Okay, so that's Michael Ebo Amwa. He's a political analyst and lecturer. You can read about what he says. And Parliament to be dragged to the Supreme Court over Unibank and UT Bank issues. Oh, that's interesting. That's on page 2. Who says that? There are credible indications that some Ghanaians will be dragging Parliament to the Supreme Court over its decision to set up a committee to investigate why the licenses of UT and Unibank were withdrawn by the Bank of Ghana. One of them told the media, quote, the constitutional interpretation we want the Supreme Court to declare is whether Parliament has the power to interfere in a matter within the realm of the judiciary. Okay, these two banks have not even exhausted their processes within the judiciary, unquote. So we will see. Let's do myjoyonline.com.
I'll just do 3 headlines from myjoyonline.com. Ken Ofriata, I don't take salary or per diem. Interesting. And then there's also this one. Rastafarian religion may complicate matters for students denied admission. That's according to the Deputy Speaker. And how about this? Junior doctors at CATH threaten strike over unpaid salaries. You can check out more stories from myjoyonline.com with regard to GIJ students, what the Member of Parliament for North Tongue has been saying, Sam Okujeto, among others. Many other stories on myjoyonline.com. Well, it's time to say goodbye, at least for this part of the show. Mama, is there something you'd like to
Absolutely. There's something that I want to say. I want to send a lot of love, shout-outs to a man who can help but watch and admire me, particularly when I'm wearing the Hats of Oak jersey. So lots of love to you, Papako Sesa Akwe. I know that you're watching and you're proud of me because I am rocking once again the Hats of Oak jersey. You can help it but simply just fall in love with this beautiful jersey. So I'm going to get you one and present it to you. Papako Sesa Akwe. Have a very good morning. If you're a Hats of Oak fan, please rock the jersey and post it. The against people, like we don't even know why they're against. We haven't even mentioned them. All we're doing is just rocking what we love.
I won't fall for it. I won't fall for it. I won't.
We just appear like this and they are falling like that.
It's time for sports.
They're walking alone. Back.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM Sports with me, Oreku Wampofo, and I'm sure you're really excited because of Ghana's qualification to the Africa Cup of Nations. We'll be coming to that in a bit, but there's a bit of breaking story as Ghana Premier League giants Asante Kotoko have appointed Mariano Barreto as their new head coach. The 64-year-old Portuguese takes over from coach Johnson Smith, who was in charge on an interim basis after the exit of Maxwell Konadu earlier in the season. Kotoko announced the deal just a few minutes ago on their social media platforms, and Barreto was Black Stars head coach actually between 2003 and 2004 and was in charge of Ghana's Black Meteors during their Olympic campaign in 2004. Barreto is expected to be in the dugout for Kotoko's next Ghana Premier League fixture against 11 Wonders when the second round begins. We'll see what the new coach certainly brings on board to Asante Kotoko, but that was a bit of a breaking news just coming in. So that was the Black Stars, and we're bringing you updates of that via social media as well. So you can follow us at Joy Sports GH to know what the Black Stars B team is up to as they get ready to face Uzbekistan. But let's come back to Ghana, where President of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kreku, has said he and Coach Akono differ in their way of doing things, but that's not justification of a frosty relationship between him and the former Black Stars captain. He was speaking to Football Made in Ghana.
Oh, what question to is that? I have, first of all, I'm the leader of the football family. I'm the leader of the executive committee of the FA. The ESCO makes appointments, and that includes appointment of coaches for all our national teams. If the ESCO is not happy with any coach, the coach will not be at post. Once the coach is at post, it means the ESCO, led by my good self, have a healthy working relationship with the coach. If you are involved in the business of football, rumors and wrong perspectives, people trying to read other minds, which is scientifically impossible, always comes into play. I mean, if I don't believe in Charles Akono as the head trainer of our Black Stars, obviously I'll convince my ESCO into coming along with me that he's not the right guy. Charles Akono is our coach. We have to support him to be successful. I trust him. Just like any other person, we may differ in the way we think things has to be done, but once he's there, means I trust him. And I will support Charles Akono to bring back the love to Ghanaian people. Just like I have trusted Abdul Karim Ozito, and he brought back the love. He won the AFCON. Charles will be successful as a coach of Ghana, but it behoves on all of us to help Charles to be successful. It behoves on all of us to be honest in our assessments of what we are doing as people, and to ensure that we press the right buttons at all times. I mean, who knows Charles Akono more than me? Who knows? No, nobody, because I'm the person who's worked with him throughout his career. Throughout. So I know him. I know what he can do. I know what he cannot do. And he knows I know what he cannot do. And together we would work towards achieving that target of envy, of not only making sure that our national team, the Black Stars, is competitive, but we touch that trophy that has been very elusive to all of us.
Well, that was Keto Kreku there speaking to Football Made in Ghana. But that's how we wrap up the sports here. You can get some more sports stories on myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Oreku Wampofo, and the AM show continues right after this.
I love Ochiame Kwame. I certainly love this video. This is the AM show. It's a Friday. We've got a Friday relationship conversation, something that's been making the rounds, Ben.
Well, it's quite a story, but just Ochiyami Kwame, his longevity, it just does something to me. And you ask yourself what it would take other artists to do that, to stay that long in the space. But this morning, we're focusing on relationships. And how would you feel if your partner, let's just make it your partner, because some husband shared this. Your partner tells you that, oh, I'm earning only 950 cedis every month. And the person gets a pay raise, and you find out that the person tells you it's only 350 cedis that has been added to the entire amount. This person takes what? Money for practically everything. Even when you're buying groceries, the person adds sanitary pads to it. You're paying the school fees, you're paying for utilities, you're paying for practically everything. Then someday, and as you can see on your shot, that's the story that was shared recently by a husband. Then someday you find out that, well, this person is earning so much more. This husband took his laptop one day and realized that his wife had been using the laptop. He saw an email in there and he wanted to log out. But right before he did that, something caught his attention. So he got into the email only to find out that it was a pay slip. And his wife was earning over 4,000 Ghana cedis. And that is where you could say all hell broke loose, because then he started asking himself so many questions. Then he finds out, look, at a point in time, his wife had convinced him to get her a car. He had to expend practically all his money. She had topped up, saying that she had some money of her own. But there was a condition that if she tops up with her money, he would eventually pay it for her. She pestered him till he paid all the money. Now, finding out about this, the man feels pained, aggrieved. I did all of this, and you were hiding this from me? He also finds out that she has bought a plot of land, has put up a building, erected a building on it, and that building is in her father's name. Her parents, the lady's parents, are saying, look, you have a beautiful marriage. Don't mess it up just because of this little issue. But the man says, trust has been broken. And as of this point, I really don't think I want to continue with the marriage. Question is, in his shoes, what would you do? What would be your stance? Divorce, just on the grounds of that? Or would you stay? Mama Vioso Abaje, there is the question.
I will walk.
You'll walk?
I will.
I've heard people say they would walk. I mean, some of those who responded to this said that, look, I wouldn't bat an eyelid, I would walk. Others have said no. But whatever happens, Mama V, for better, for worse. For better, for worse. And you do expect, even in relationships, before people get married, people lie. People say all sorts of things. Things happen. Trust is broken.
This is somebody who's earning so much, okay, and is doing a lot for herself.
Yes.
Okay. Whilst
on the side.
Whilst her husband, and there isn't any disclosure on the blind side, and she's actually lied about how much she earns. Yeah. Which is okay if she wasn't hiding all the other things. And she's actually developing a property in her father's name. Mm-hmm. She's taking care of supporting the brother. So she's got so much, actually. Yet she's put all the burden on her husband's shoulders. And I think it's so unfair. If she wasn't working, if she was earning very little and she couldn't do it, you see that the husband was doing it, not complaining, even though it was tough. But to discover that she could actually support herself, not only support herself, but also support
her family.
Her immediate family, as in the home. She could contribute significantly and take a lot of the burden, as in share the burden of the family. But she opted not to do it. And they've been married for, 6 years? If you read this, the narration that the man gives, it's still very difficult because it is trust that's broken. And
did you see that point where he feels bad, and you can see from the writing that there's a lot of pain? But he's talking about the fact that, oh, so, I mean, he's also been supporting her family, only to realize that, and he's not been doing so much for his own family. And he says, oh, wow, so you had all this money, and I've not even been taking so good care of my own family on account of you, the bills at home, and your family.
And if you have a certain history, of maybe, say, people disappointing you, having gone through a lot, if you have a certain background and you get into a marriage situation like this, and you discover that she was keeping so much from you, you lose it. And depending on kind of background that you're coming from, I mean, it can't be okay, no matter what anybody says. So that's why, straight away, looking at the story, the narration, I said to myself, what's my response to this? If I was in his shoes, I will walk, because I know that no matter what, I mean, we can talk about it, go back and forth, something will not be the same again. And
so I agree.
Yeah. So
things would definitely not be the same. But does that mean it can't be rebuilt? I'm just thinking, there are people who have been in relationships and even had their partners cheat. Is that not probably one of the worst forms of a breach of trust that you could have? For the person you're married to go and be with someone else and all of that. That's also a breach of trust. But people still mend their marriages and stay.
Well, so this is an individual's decision, really. You can give him all the advice that you want to give him, but in the end, he has to look at himself and decide which way he wants to go. And I appreciate the angle that you bring into this. So for my own perspective, again, I have heard you, but I will walk.
And that's a stance right now.
Yeah.
Basically, the family has been coming, explaining away. The woman is now footing a lot of the bills at home. But he says, oh, like, I'm just watching.
Yeah.
I'm just looking on, because right now I'm in that place where nothing you do impresses me.
So go back to the discovery where he decided that I'm going to let her know that I know. She didn't answer the question of, you've bought a land and you're building, and your father is the one supervising it. What she was interested in was, who told you? How did you know? So she didn't even answer the question, you know? Father comes in, and father is also on that same road, like, how did you know? I didn't tell you. Yeah. So, I mean, I even when he discovered it, if she had opened up immediately to say it, and I'm sure that she has her own reasons. Listen, sometimes you do things based on something that you've experienced, based on some kind of orientation that was given to you. You've probably seen some other family, some other woman suffer in her relationship before. And of course, you're human. You have to learn the lessons and do something for yourself. So you're probably thinking, if this marriage fails, what would I have to show for myself? What would I be left with? And so you're trying to have a backup plan, plan B, which is
the
sensible.
Whole idea of marriage, where in the mathematics of marriage, it is not 1 + 1 is equal to 2. It is 1 + 1 is equal to 1. So you're a couple. You do. I mean, I know. Like, let's practicalize this in the current situation of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West and all of that. The other day, I was telling you about the prenuptial agreement. So right from the outset, they had agreed that if we do part ways, you keep whatever you have, I keep whatever I have, and all of that. You can have those, arrangements. But here in Ghana, our cultural setting is not like that. It is very different. The woman is offering to, in terms of the title on the properties, the names and all of that, to even change all of that so that the man is also factored in. Don't you feel she's doing enough? So now we own it together.
So listen, I don't know what happens in other people's families, but this is my own personal beliefs. The fact that we're one doesn't mean that we should necessarily do everything together. You can have your account, I can have my account. We can have a joint one where we're both contributing towards a certain project or a certain cause, or for unforeseen circumstances. But my day-to-day, what I put in my accounts, may not necessarily be part of your business. You know, you have to still have yourself whilst you're in the marriage. Don't let it consume you, like lose everything.
Look, for most couples I know that have joint accounts, they also have some other account where, I mean, you want to do something special for yourself, give yourself a treat, go somewhere, travel.
I mean, Ben, the fact that I tell you I'm earning 4,000 doesn't mean that I'm going to give the 4,000 to you.
Obviously.
Or I'm telling you to come and dip your hands in the or plan so that you can consume my 4,000. I'm only telling you that I earn 4,000. You're telling me you earn 3,000. Because we're together and we can discuss. And if I am looking at doing something, you can give me a piece of advice. If I'm looking at maybe investing or maybe extra pension, I'm thinking about the future. We're both thinking about the children. I really don't know, but maybe we have to get help right now.
With the man, and we shall be getting help shortly, but with the man, I guess that's where the pain is coming from, because from his pot of, let's use your 4,000, it appears they were digging into all of it, clawing into all of it. Utility bills, down to sanitary pads. Everything was coming from there. And that's why he felt so aggrieved.
I think she was totally selfish, self-centered. And for a man who genuinely believed that she didn't have enough and he wanted to take the responsibility as a man. I know some people say, oh, but you are a man, it's your responsibility. But hey,
that's what they say when they're getting married. Say,
thankfully, nobody said that to my husband. Nobody said that to my husband. But I don't believe in that. I totally don't believe in that. Let's get some help because what I'm saying is just what I think that I will probably do. But what would the professional tell us? Bishop Dr. Fred Kwanche-Mensah is a pastor and he's also a psychologist. He's joined us via Zoom. Good morning to you. There you are. It's been forever.
I know, right? Good morning.
Good morning,
my dear sister.
Yeah. I listen. If that was my story, and I've taken this position that I would walk, you're not going to tell me that what I have said is wrong, are you?
In the context, what exactly do you mean by I would walk?
Oh, I am just going to leave the marriage.
Oh, that's a very big thing to consider at this point. I am not, excuse me, I am not trying to downplay the gentleman's emotions. Neither am I trying to justify the lady's act. But you see, in marriage is simply a contract or agreement between two people coming from two different places. Things do happen in marriage. People do offend one another. So if you would just want to walk away because of this, I think it's too quick and too early. There is a lot of hope around this issue. I understand that the gentleman is disappointed, the gentleman is hurt, the gentleman is angry. He has a whole lot of emotions mixed together. He's in a state of confusion. He doesn't even know what to do and what not to do. But let's give marriage a second chance. This is a hopeful situation. It is not a hopeless situation. I have seen people gone beyond this situation, yet their marriage has been salvaged. So the thought of walking away, I think, will be too quick. We can help them. We can salvage the situation.
Let's now begin to break the issues down. Here's somebody who genuinely believed that his wife was not earning much. And I think that he's not even selfish, because somebody would have said, even though you're not earning much, bring the little that you still earn on board. But he totally took the whole responsibility. And even though he was suffering, he didn't complain much from the narration that he gave. But here's a wife who was not only earning a lot more than she had disclosed, but was also keeping or developing a property. How do you make sense out of all these things that she's doing behind the man? I mean, I don't get it.
First of all, you see, Let me do something therapists will always do. We call it reconceptualization. You try to look at situations with different lenses and frames. You try to see the good out of every bad situation. And in this case, I must say that I commend the lady for her skill of management, her skill of putting things together and making investments and taking care of her money, although she used that skill wrongly. You see, when you're confronted with a difficult situation, reconceptualization gives you a little hope. At least this is the good thing about it. So when this marriage works, I'm not even going to say if, because there is a lot of possibility that this marriage is going to work. So when this marriage works, the man has a wife who is a good manager. Thankfully, she didn't use the money on things she can't account for. She's built a house. She's bought Uber. She's done a lot of investments. And the good thing is that she's repentant. She's remorseful. She's trying to do a lot to amend the wrongs. So that's a good thing about it. But the act in itself, sorry, is very bad. I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm just talking about facts, because honesty is a foundation for trust, and trust is very important as far as every relationship, not just marriage relationship, every relationship is concerned. Trust is very, very important. Now she's been dishonest and trust is broken, and it will take a bit of time. I will say that in as much as she's wrong, you see, sometimes when people find themselves at the other side of the law, sometimes you want to perceive them or want to look at them as slaves. Let me put that in quotes. A spouse may have made a mistake and he or she will keep apologizing, keep showing evidence of changed behavior, and we still push them to the point because they are wrong. This is the point, my dear sister. We all make mistakes in different ways. If you will remember that the story of the woman who was caught in the act of adultery, when she was brought to Jesus, the great teacher, Jesus pointed out this fact. He says, he who is without a sin should first cast the stone. It simply means that we all make mistakes in different ways. So if today I have made the mistake, it doesn't make me a bad person. I did something bad, but I may not necessarily be a bad person. Given a chance, I am willing to amend my ways and I'm willing to do things right. I read the letter a couple of times. I am glad that this lady has already done a lot to right the wrongs in this relationship. So in as much as what she did was wrong, we can't crucify her. We all make mistakes in different ways. The most important thing is that she has realized that she is wrong and she's already doing a lot to right the wrongs.
Bishop Benjamin here, and thank you once more for joining us. Now, I'm happy you've gone biblical because I'd like to just share with you from Matthew 19, verse 8. Jesus answers the people and he talks about how, you know, from the beginning, divorce was not allowed and how it was because the people were stubborn that Moses allowed them to divorce and that it wasn't so from the beginning. But when trust is irreparably broken, like in the case of this man, where he says, I simply can't bring myself to trust her anymore. Do you still stay in the marriage?
My brother, the point here is clearly Jesus said that, God made provision for divorce because of the hardness of your heart, which simply means in the beginning, when God created Adam and Eve and he created the institution of marriage, it wasn't supposed to be a short-lived. Marriage was supposed to be forever. But when man sinned and became corrupted, his heart became stained. He could not represent God well. He could not show all the attributes of God. So God is saying, because you are no longer perfect, I will make provision for divorce. Otherwise, abuse can happen, one can kill the other, all kinds of evil can happen because you are not perfect people. But you see, these are not some of the conditions for divorce, biblically. Number two, I do not think that this kind of trust is irreparable. It can be repaired. It can be repaired. If we allow ourselves, this trust can be repaired. You see, I made mention that we all make mistakes in different ways. Forgiveness is something that is very beautiful if we are receiving it, but it's very difficult if we are giving it. But we will have to learn to forgive in every kind of relationship, whether business, whether spousal, whatever relationship we find ourselves in, we have to learn to forgive. Trust is broken. Trust can be repaired. Trust can be built. Look at it. These are people coming from two different places with different orientations and trainings. If they can come together and build trust, what it means is that trust can be rebuilt. But there are conditions. Condition number one, for want of better word, let me try to use the word offender here. The offender must come to a place of repentance. Not just repentance, but a complete renewal of mind, attitudes, and behavior. And this lady, fortunately, is showing all these signs. She is remorseful. Let's not forget that she also has emotional issues to deal with. She's dealing with shame. She's dealing with regret, among other things. But she's gone beyond that, and she's showing remorseness, and she's showing changed behavior. So I think that I understand, yes, the man needs a little time. I mean, no two ways about that. I want to commend him because most men would have reacted beyond what he has done. We are in this country, we are seeing people killing their spouses just because of little mistakes, cheating and dishonesty and all that. I commend him for being a gentleman. He's done well. But I want to also believe that if he will, number one, learn to forgive and give himself a little time, on the premise that we all make mistakes in different ways. This is a marriage that is only 6 years old, okay? When this marriage works, they have a lot of decades ahead of them. And trust me, the man will find himself in the same position, maybe in a different way, but he will find himself in a position needing the forgiveness of his wife. So if he doesn't sow that seed today, it's going to be difficult for him if he meets it. One of the things I think that married people should learn is the 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 to 8 kind of love. Many a times when we talk about love, our mind goes on emotion. The way you feel about somebody, the way you feel about something. That's natural definition of love. But if you go beyond nature, you will realize that if God wants us to love, he wants us to love with the God kind of love. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son to come and die for us. Whilst we were yet sinners, Christ loved us and died for us. So the God kind of love goes beyond emotion. It goes beyond what I'm feeling at a particular time. It is a kind of love based on decision. I have decided to love this person. I have decided to love this thing, and nothing is going to change my position. It's a decision based on commitment. And every marriage should be built not just on emotional love. I mean, in Greek, we call it eros. In as much as it is so important, because if I don't have eros for my spouse, I will not be attracted sexually towards her. But marriage is not just about eros. We need to also go beyond that and begin to practice the agape kind of love, the God kind of love that sees beyond eros, the God kind of love that is not proud, the God kind of love that is not boastful, the God kind of love that does not keep record of sins, the God kind of love that forgives and easily forgives. Once we are beginning to practice this kind of love, we can look at errors and shortcomings of our spouses.
Right.
And for the sake of Christ,
right,
forgive them and give them another chance to prove their worth.
Okay, Bishop. So I want to box two questions into one very, very briefly. I hope you can address them briefly. The first is, you spoke about, and that was something I was about to get to, spousal abuse and a lot of what we've been seeing recently, people, killing their partners and all of that. If you feel trust is broken to the point where I can't love this person the same, I can't trust the person the same, it may lead me to do certain things I don't want to do, like spousal abuse. Is it still okay to stay? And secondly, you're a psychologist as well. What do you think on the psychological level it would take for this man to come back to where he was before he made all these discoveries?
Okay, great. When it comes to spousal abuse, my position is this: there is no justification whatsoever to abuse your spouse. Sometimes, unfortunately, women especially, I read a paper, a research somebody conducted in the Central Region. Women have been conditioned by society to believe that certain conditions can justify abuse. Like, if I don't cook for my husband early enough, if I disrespect my husband, if I do this, if I do that, my husband is justified if he abuses me physically or emotionally or verbally or financially. We need to break that. There is no justification for abuse. This is the thing. If you feel that you have been angered by a situation, you need anger management, we do recommend separation for a while. If you don't see the offender for a while, you will be able to deal with yourself and process all this in your thoughts very well, and then be ready to give it another trial. So separation is recommended. I'm not talking about divorce. I'm talking about separation for a while. And it is also important, my dear brother, that we we take this one is to all stakeholders, institutions that supervise marriages. It's important that we take premarital and postmarital counseling seriously, because we live in a very beautiful culture. But unfortunately, certain aspects of our culture does not inform us well. My sister talked about the fact that I think you talked about it, that sometimes when people are going into marriage, they advise them that it's all part of our culture. Our culture sometimes misinforms people. So they go into marriage with certain expectations, and they go into marriage with certain mentalities. And that is the problem. We need to take care of premarital counseling. If they had gone through proper counseling, I believe that they would get to the point of knowing that once the two become one, my money is not my money. My money is our money. Everybody's income is for the family. Mama V talked about the fact that the two has become one doesn't mean I am not a person. It is true, you are a person, but let's consider that once we have become one, because scripture says, for this cause a man shall leave his house, be cleaved to his wife, and the two of them shall become one flesh. Genesis 2:25. Both of them were naked, yet not ashamed. Naked means they were open to one another. If you think that you should keep your account and I should keep my account separately, the issue here is the dishonesty. It's okay if you want to be an individual, but don't lie to me. Don't be dishonest. Once you do that, you are touching trust. And like my brother said, trust sometimes is irreparable, and most times takes a lot of time and effort to be built.
Well, Bishop, thank you very much for the wise words that you've just shared with us. We're grateful for your intervention in this conversation.
And Mama, maybe
my greatest pleasure. Thank you, and God bless you.
Well, I was going to sneak in because Bishop did not tackle what the man has to do on the psychological level to, maybe if you could just touch on that very briefly.
Okay. I think in sum, I will say that the man should seek external professional help. The way the situation looks right now, it will be difficult to deal with it on his own. He should get help. There are psychologists and counselors around. He should, or even if he has a good church with a good counseling department, he can go there and get some help. But on his own, number one, he can reconceptualize the situation, try to see it from a different angle. Yes, the act was wrong, but he can choose to consider certain skills that the wife has. It gives him hope. Okay, at least this is a good thing about this bad situation. And then he should also deal with his thought processes. Sometimes our mind plays tricks with us. It gives us a gloomier picture than it really is. So he should work on his thought processes, try to be positive and focus on the positive things about his marriage. When I read the story, the in-laws told them they should not allow this to destroy their beautiful marriage. That means they have a good, beautiful marriage. He can focus on that to get strength to deal with this negativity.
Bishop Dr. Fred Kranche Mensah, thank you so much for your time with us on this subject. Mamavi, it's been insightful.
Pleasure.
We've all learned a thing or two.
Absolutely. Well, let's take views from some people in Takrady.
Yeah, I would lose trust in the woman, one, and then nothing what the woman said that would make me believe in her. Because after this many years, she's been able to keep such a secret from me. Meaning, I don't know what will happen in the future. So the best thing for me is to just, divorce her or terminate the marriage. Because if there's no trust in marriage, because in marriage, the first thing that should come first is trust. If there's no trust, there's no marriage. Because immediately we are married, meaning two becomes one. So whatever thing happens to her happens to me too. So if she's been doing this all along, she should at least let me know. So that if maybe I might even have an idea, I might even give her an idea to even make the thing look nice. See? So if she has been keeping this from me for so many years, and then finally I got to find out, without she even telling me and me finding out by myself, I will lose trust in her one, and then I'll just divorce the marriage.
For this issue, for me, it will be in a way of, let's say, the woman will learn a lesson out of it. And she being my woman, I'll forgive him. And at the same time, I'll try as much as possible to be serious over whatever he does for now. But for me, I'll forgive the lady. I'll forgive the lady and move on with. Yes, I'll forgive the lady and just move on with her.
Something that can be read. You must have asked me now. In the first place. To say, oh, I am in only Bessiana. The way you could come, my head to Mukun. My idea be on fatter than I can wall in your new Kunitia over the air. Into my call that me and there. Or them the Jantua.
So it's a very interesting thoughts shared, and I was trying to corner my view on something. I would not put it on air, but well, let's find out from those of you watching what your thoughts are. You know the number to call 0302-211-691 extension 2. 0302-211-691 extension 2. Let's hear from you. But Mama, what would you say are the takeaways from Bishop Kranche Mensah?
So I absolutely get his point that this is workable. I like the posture of the man, by the way, because he's not walking out. He said
at least
that,
not yet.
Yeah. I mean, he said
but
that
when you get the tone of trust is broken,
yeah, because it's not something that you can just wake up and say you fixed, and so let's move on. she's
I
lucky.
feel the girl's family is also giving him some pressure to.
Yeah, but he doesn't need the pressure
get that
right now.
vibe from the story.
I do, but he doesn't need the pressure. But I like him. I like him because, I guess, unlike me, he's taken it easy, and he's even said that I'm not going to divorce her. I'm just making it. This is yours. This is mine. You know. But I feel that is even a worse form of walking out. You get what I mean? Because if you walk out, then you know that it's ended. This one is
I've had those situations. That's why I was posing the question to Bishop. Which would be better? And I am not supportive of divorce, by the way. But sometimes you have that, the other person just goes cold. They are with you, but they are not with you.
But they're not there, yeah. So which one is better?
We have a caller on the line.
Dela? Dela is from Agogo. Good morning, Dela.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
I'd love to say the man is lucky. Lucky because it's not that he was cheating. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We're listening.
Hello? Yeah.
Okay.
So, Ado, please hold on and let's finish with Dela. Ado will be with you shortly.
Yeah, I'm saying that the man is lucky the woman wasn't cheating, which would have been a worse form. And also, it's that she's investing into a family. In the end, it still comes back to their family.
How does this one come back to the family when the land is in the name of the father?
So it might come back to the kid in future. But as I'm saying, the best is to see a psychologist because the brain per se won't allow you to process something very well.
So what would you have done, Dela? What would you have done?
I'll mourn for long. I'll really mourn. Going to hide then see a psychologist. That's what I would have done.
All right. Yeah. I like you. Thank you very much for sharing.
Morning, Abim. You know, we joke matter. Ado in Accra also is on. Ado, thank you for joining us. What are your thoughts on the matter?
My thought is simple. I think Osofo, I thank Osofo for talking, but he's talking as Osofo. But when it comes to realities, Osofo, I beg. As for me, the trust is what can hold the marriage. And at this particular situation, I will not be able to go for any external distance because I'll be covered and buried with this kind of case. All I'll do is that I'll walk away and leave the lady.
So is there nothing that can be done to change the situation? Nothing?
I had a similar situation like that. A woman who will poison your food and you want to take such a person. Definitely, the trust is not there. Right. This is a woman who has also gone this way, has labored and did everything for this woman. And this woman will shy away and hide everything, and she can kill me.
Okay.
So I'll walk away. The best is to walk away and let her go.
All right. Thank you very much, Ado, right here in Accra.
Let's go to Achimota. Nana Ansah is joining us from there. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mama.
Yeah, if this was your problem, how would you resolve it?
Well, I side with my other colleague who just left the phone. You see, the man of God was talking as a man of God, so we respect that. But clearly, there's a breach of trust. And so therefore, this is not the time you have to be in a relationship whereby you'll be thinking you don't trust the lady, but you'll be pretending as if you trust the person. Clearly, it calls for divorce. You see, Mama, if this, a man had done this to a woman, but now we will hear all kind of feminist group, bashing the man. Today, what are they? It's another food. So what are they?
But Nana Ansah, I am not a man. I am not a man. I am not a man, but my position is same as yours.
I understand clearly. So far as there is breach of trust. There is no way. You will try to live in such a situation whereby you'll be pretending. I don't believe in pretending. Clearly, the lady has lied, and the marriage must be cancelled.
Well,
that's all.
Thanks a lot for joining us.
I'll go for that option. Now, I'll not be pretending I feel I love you, why I don't love you. I'll trust you, why I don't trust you. It doesn't work that way in a proper marital home.
So something else I'm seeing, is it that there can't be love without
They can
trust?
be friends. They can be friends, but not marriage.
Anyway.
I don't even believe in that. If the marriage is broken, it's broken.
This is a hard stance. Thank you very much, Nanasa. Let's go over to Agona right now. Abdul Razak is from Agona. Good morning. What are your thoughts on this matter?
Good morning. I think, Mama V, first of all, you're looking back in your house of food.
I love you. I love you, Abdul Razak. Thank you very much.
I'm a Kotoko fan, by the way.
Masters.
Never mind. You're also not looking bad. You're looking great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Really? Really?
Yeah. I think I can understand the pain of the man, but personally, I don't. I think you should not expect one or some of these things. She's human, and women normally when they are coming into marriage, you know the way they've been wired that you need a car, fabric, you need a car, and those kind of things. So it's very painful. I think all guys should come to a realization that it will be very difficult for you to think that the woman will be perfect and everything. So you should not feel too bad about it because she's human and she has not done well. But it will become very painful when you don't even have it somewhere in your subconscious mind that at least she can do something like that. So it shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, you should be difficult, but you should just try and.
Right, Abdulrazak, thank you very much, all the way from Agona.
Let's wrap up with Darren. Darren is in Kaswa. Good morning, Darren. What are your thoughts? Hello, Darren. Darren, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, please go ahead. Share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, hello, can you hear?
Darren, you have to put, lower the. Just put the volume on the television off, okay, so we can communicate through the phone.
In the first place,
Okay, I'm afraid we have to leave it here. Thank you for joining us on this Relationship Friday segment, and we hope that we've all learned one or two. I find it interesting that Osofo has made his point, but the reality is, hey,
people are like, for Bible, no to change, but you can't do that. You must find a way of weaving in your faith and the other bits.
Yeah. Well,
okay,
so go ahead if this is your situation, but you have to also pray about it before you take a step. Sometimes it looks like it's impossible to resolve, but you never know. Miracles do happen. So thank you. Join us again next Friday for another relationship conversation. Coming up next, the ICGC, International Central Gospel Church, is making a big donation to the Mental Health Authority. It's not something they haven't done before. In 2019, there was a similar exercise. Why do they still keep contributing to mental health in Ghana? That conversation is coming up next. All right, thanks for staying with us. I did remind you that the International Central Gospel Church did a big contribution back in 2019 towards mental health. They're on course again this year, and Reverend Albert Okran is with ICGC. He's joined us for a conversation. Also joining us via phone, Dr. Caroline Amisa, Deputy CEO, Mental Health Authority. Let me start with you. Reverend Albert Okran, thank you very much for coming. Good morning to you. So you're working tomorrow. You're contributing to mental health, something that you've done before. And then you're also celebrating frontline workers. Why is the church doing this at this time?
Thanks for having us, Mavia. You're looking very sporty, I must say, today.
Thank you.
Supporting my favorite team. So, March is a health and fitness month for us at ICGC, and so we come up with various events to commemorate that health and fitness month. And the key highlight is Life Walk, which allows us we encourage individual health and fitness as part of our mission as a church, but in Life Walk we come together in our thousands and do a typical 12-kilometer walk to remind us of the importance of health and fitness. And interestingly, that's also the opportunity to raise funds for one of our chosen charities. And over the years, our biggest beneficiary has been the Children's Cancer Unit, which we've adopted for the past 10 years and still support. But additionally, Life Work has been shifted to focus on mental health in Ghana. And the reason is simple, in my view. We believe that it's an underserved area in the healthcare gamut. Pastor Table has always said that people who suffer from mental health, we used to typically see mental health as mental illness, but we find out that there are several people that we love around us who have issues one way or another with mental health. 2 out of 5 people have one issue or another. And the COVID-19 pandemic, with the restrictions and change of lifestyles, have further exacerbated mental health issues. So last 2 years, we were able to support them with 3, what they call the miracle machines, the ECM machines, for each of the mental hospitals in Ghana to the value of about 200,000 Ghana cedis. And they found it extremely helpful for extending mental health care. This year, we approached them again and found out what they will need most at this time, bearing in mind the fight against COVID. And they highlighted, not surprisingly, PPEs, and particularly face masks.
Oh, really?
Yes, they felt that that would help them to take care of patients, administrators, because really, everyone in the value chain must be protected. Sometimes, in the words of Professor Say, sometimes you're thinking both of the healthcare giver as well as the patient, and they both must be safe. And so in that regard, Dr. Table decided that we should go the full length to support not just one hospital, but as many of them across the country as possible. So in tomorrow's life work, we are presenting 105,000 face masks to mental health institutions across the country as our contribution to mental health care in Ghana. And then on Sunday, we gather to thank all health workers who have in one way or another contributed in the fight against COVID, especially remembering also those who may have lost their lives, unfortunately, in the course of protecting all of us. And the church feels that doing this is a way of telling them your sacrifice was not in vain, and their families would feel appreciated for the sacrifice of their loved ones.
Great. Let me engage Dr. Caroline Emisa, Deputy CEO of Mental Health Authority. And we're just putting pictures of the 2019 live walk. I know that we miss it. We miss the gathering and doing it together, but we're going virtual. Reverend Okran will tell us how it's going to go down tomorrow. But Dr. Caroline Emisa, I'm grateful that you could join us for a conversation. Just briefly tell us how the psychiatric hospitals are faring these days.
Okay, so thank you very much. Good morning. And good morning to Reverend Okran and your listeners. Yes, I'm happy to be on the show. I'm grateful that ICGC is doing all they are doing to support mental health. Currently, yes, like he rightly said, and as you know, our mental health facilities have always been cash-strapped. Why do I say that? Because mental health care in Ghana is free. And it was rightly done so because we realized that persons who suffer from mental illness usually are not able to be productive. That is, they are not able to go back to work to make money or to be remunerated, to be able to take care of themselves because of the nature of the disease condition. So it happened that at the time the law was being passed, it was thought to make mental health services free, and government was taking care of all, salaries, goods and services, infrastructure, and what have you. But we all know that the population has increased. Other sectors have come up. Now we haven't moved from, but non-communicable diseases have also become a challenge to add up to our communicable diseases, which were the key or major things in the past. So you realize that government alone cannot do this. And so the funding for mental health services in the country, even though has increased, I'd have to commend government for that. It has increased remarkably over the years, but it's still not enough. And yes, we talk about our hospitals, but when you move out of the hospitals, there are still mental health services that are provided in the communities. That we haven't been able to do too much for. But even looking at just the 3 psychiatric hospitals, they need support for logistical services, what have you. So I think that persons and organizations like ICGC have taken the right direction and are doing the right thing in looking at support for our institutions. And I'll say that with COVID, we really were cash-strapped, like I've always said, because we don't have medicines. We have to buy medicines, first of all, to take care of the patients we have. And then talk about protective equipment. Yes, government distributed some protective equipment to the regions, and we were lucky to get some from the COVID coordinating team as well. But like you know, it's not enough. So there are nurses on different shifts from morning, afternoon, and night, and you have to wear masks, you have to wear other protective equipment, and be changing them, sanitizing, washing your hands, and all that. So it became actually a burden because we take care of our patients just like any other hospitals do. Every 4 hours, you need to go check on your patients, what's happening with them, has anything changed significantly, what do you have to do with them. So the little money we had, we could buy some PPEs, but they were not enough. We actually reached out to government. They supported us with some, but I believe that the hospital could do with some more, and we are grateful that ICGC is looking at supporting us in that regard. And probably I must say that it may not just be face masks. Maybe we may need some liquid soaps and sanitizers and what have you to do the same, adhere to the protocols that we have been asked to.
Okay, fantastic. I like the fact that you're putting your needs out there. But just finally with you, they presented some therapy machines some 2 years ago. How helpful has the machines been?
Yes, so the ECT machines are, good machines that are used to treat patients at various levels of their care. Whilst you are being managed, if, for instance, the medicines are not doing as well as we expect it to do within a time, so you are upset, and then we would have to come in with some of these machines. It produces some electrical activity on the brain, which helps to stimulate your brain activity. For some people, especially who are depressed, etc., sometimes we need these machines to stimulate them, to bring them out of the state in which they are. It's a therapy that when you need it and it's used on you, it really has great effect. It's been proved elsewhere. And the hospitals, yes, are finding ways of using it. If I say they are finding ways, some of them need anesthetic machines together with it because they have to put the patient to sleep a bit, so that they don't feel the activity so much. And the hospitals are working with it, I would say, yes.
All right.
Use it.
Okay, well, we'll follow up again after tomorrow's exercise. Dr. Caroline Amisa, I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, too.
Great. She's the Deputy CEO of the Mental Health Authority. So we're thankful that, you contribute to an area where largely is neglected. Once in a while, we will engage them as media, for instance, but the everyday stories that they have to battle with. So thank you. They said, are you adding some soaps?
Let me celebrate the effort of Professor Say, Dr. Emisa, and all the hardworking people at the Mental Health Authority and institutions across the country. What they do is amazing, and they can be assured that, considering the orientation of Pastor Tabo, we will stay with them and continue to support them, and that must be comforting for them.
Yeah. Well, for us as well, because you never know, I could find myself needing mental health care tomorrow.
I believe that we all need help in that area one way or another. But tomorrow, talking about tomorrow, Mavi,
virtual walk.
Virtual walk. So last year, just when we were set, COVID struck, and last minute we had to put out a press release, and people were so disappointed that life work had to be called off because people look forward to it. Now we are not yet out of the woods in terms of the risk of large gatherings and super risky infections that come with that. And so the church leadership thought in its wisdom that we should not miss out on the significance and symbolism of the life walk. And so we should walk, but not in the large numbers that we've become used to. So the whole idea of virtual walk is that tomorrow, just pick out your phone and at 5:30 a.m., which is the typical takeoff time, go to Facebook, YouTube at Mensaltable, which many people have bookmarked anyway, subscribed to anyway, and then you will see the walk being virtually simulated. You will see footages from previous years, simulated walks. You will see the narrator. You will get the kilometric signs. You've done 1 kilometer so far.
Oh.
It will guide you on the walk as if you were walking with people.
Okay.
And the exciting thing about it, Mavi, is that every individual can, in their own life walk t-shirt or whatever t-shirt they are wearing or whatever gym clothes they are wearing, just take their own picture and post it on social media and hashtag we are ICGC. And we will just get to see the various people walking in their various places. We say, listen, you can walk in your compound, in your locality, in a preferred place, but just walk.
Are you doing 12 kilometers individually?
So the standard is 12 kilometers, but we also are mindful that people, for various reasons, may choose to do 1, 3, 6, or 9, but walk. That's the whole idea. And the good thing about virtual walk, you also could decide that, listen, I wouldn't walk at dawn. Considering my area, I'd rather walk in the cool of the afternoon, or I'm catching up with some friends at 11 and you're doing it together. And you can still watch the recording on your phone and still enjoy it. So choose your own location, choose your own distance, and choose your own time, but walk.
Is Pastor to be walking tomorrow?
He definitely will be, and you will see him, if you hashtag my ICGC, you will see him walking along with Lady Joy, and they're looking forward to it as well. And then just before we sign off, maybe Mama V, because it's a sponsored walk, we would like to encourage people. People like to own their own contribution to mental health. So the church has made a commitment already, but individuals want to believe that, listen, I bought 1 KN95 for mental health, or I bought a box myself. So we don't want to deny people that opportunity. So if you will indulge me for just a minute, I'd like to encourage our viewers, just dial *773*0#. *773*0#, and then choose give. When you choose give, you will see a dedicated life walk there. Just click on life walk.
Wait, why don't I do it?
Oh, that would be lovely.
So you
dial *773*0#. There you go.
Okay.
Once you click, it will show you the various prompts and you will see give. So
it's given, check-in, booking, after call, and price.
So click on given.
Okay. And I'm waiting for the options. Again, given menu. Give, make a pledge, given history. If I want to give,
so go down.
Continue to give. Do I still do give?
Go then click on 0.
Okay. So we're talking about Life Walk tomorrow. We're talking about how you can contribute to this certainly good cause with a contribution from the ICGC. Okay, so it says main menu Christ Temple, Mama Viusa Bwaji. Given check-in.
Oh, so you're there already.
But I'm a member of the church.
I know, but it's important to mention that.
Oh, so you might not find your name if you're not.
No, if you are not, you won't find your name, but you still can go ahead and choose Life Walk and give.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I haven't been to ICGC like in a very long time.
I'll tell Pastor that I told you live on air that you shouldn't miss it out.
So this is actually pretty simple, and I'm excited. So here are the options. Church offering, Life Walk. So I just go to Life Walk, right?
Go to Life Walk and give plenty.
Okay. How much should I give?
The good thing is, okay, so you, let's say, just so we don't scare our viewers, so you give 100.
Let's
make it 50.
I give 500.
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Because I haven't been to church in a long time.
I tell you what, you should come here every day. We'll raise enough money to buy the mask. And the good thing is that just by telling me how much you're giving, I can calculate how many boxes of KN95 you are buying. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You actually are buying 10 boxes.
Oh, really?
Yes, 10 boxes of KN95 masks.
Wow. Okay, so let me finish the process.
That's beautiful.
Let me finish the process. Please give the hashtag again so that our viewers, if you're watching right now,
so if you're watching
that's my donation, just so you know I actually donated and it wasn't just a show.
I see it live. So *773*0#, or if you are on Express Pay, just go to Express Pay and then look for Christ Temple and look for Life Walk and then give. Or you can download the My ICGC app, click on Give and click on Life Walk. But for many people, the easiest route is to just dial *773*0#. Choose Give and choose Life Walk. It's a very fulfilling feeling that your contribution, no matter how small, can allow somebody to be helped. And I want to say thank you to yourself, to the multimedia team for being such a strong support to ICGC in everything that we do. We truly celebrate your team here for the support.
Well, some of us are members, so we're just doing our duty. But tell me just finally how you're celebrating the frontline workers.
So on Sunday, every member of ICGC who's a health worker is encouraged to come to work to church in their uniforms. In Christ Temple, we are saying they should come for the first service at 7:30, but every ICGC church tomorrow is asking health workers to come to church in their uniform. There will be reserved seats for them. There will be a special citation signed by the General Overseer that will be read to them. There will be prayer for them. The whole church will celebrate them. And there will be other things being done that are add-ons.
Okay.
But I believe that every health worker who comes to church tomorrow will go home feeling that the duty of care, the sacrifice they make for our nation is not in vain.
Is this Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday.
Okay,
this Sunday, the
so
28th,
Sunday first service.
At first service at Christ Temple and at ICGC churches worldwide.
Okay.
Every one of them will have the same celebration for our health workers.
Wow. This is incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you for what the church is doing as well in encouraging all of us and helping us. Sometimes people want to contribute, but you see, they don't know how, and they feel that what they have is too little to make a big impact. So as we all bring it together, it will help, solve a bigger problem.
Absolutely.
So we thank you. Do we know how much you're aiming at contributing? Because the last time in 2019, I think you gave up to 200,000?
So the 2019 contribution came up to 200,000 cedis. Our identification of face masks as the need, we valued the 105,000 face masks at 150,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
So that is the contribution for this year,
Okay.
in kind, in the form of face masks.
All right. Thank you very much for your time here on the show.
Thank you, Mavi.
All right. Stay with us. We have plenty more conversations coming up here on the AM Show.